did it. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the CineBoiz podcast. It is Monday, December 7th. We're live. Happy Monday, guys. How you doing?
We are live. Yes.
We are live. We are
doing
live.
Great.
Great. Good to hear it. So yeah, welcome to the CineBoiz podcast. We're part of the Corkbats podcast network. We're literally the only podcast on the internet where 4 dudes, but in this case, this week, 3 dudes get together and talk movies. So don't fact check us on that. Don't look for any other podcasts about movies. They don't exist. Just take our word for it. So yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, welcome. We really appreciate you. Please consider subscribing and liking and possibly like telling a friend or 5 that we're here. Like you don't even just subscribe. Like you can stop listening if you want. Just subscribe because that goes a long way for us. You can listen like the first 2 or 3 seconds and we get credit for the whole episode. So just subscribe. This is all you have to do every week. Just subscribe on Apple, Google, Spotify. Listen for 5 seconds. And then if you don't want to keep listening, you don't have to.
And then hit that 5-star thing.
Yeah.
That takes a millisecond.
Right. Like literally, we're not asking that much. Like you can, now that you know what you need to do, you can stop listening right now as long as you subscribe, rate, and just tell one friend. That's it.
What a pitch.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. And I mean, you can stick around if you want. We're a pretty damn good podcast about movies, and it's going to be a fun one today. Just teasing it a little bit. So yeah, do that if you're listening. Hey, if you're watching on the Corkbats YouTube page, thank you as well. So be sure to follow Corkbats on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. Go to Corkbats website, corkbats.com. So be sure to follow Corkbats. And you don't even have to keep watching this video either. Just hit like and subscribe to Corkbats. And that means so much to us. Now, that being said, I really hope that you guys stick around because we're going to get into some ish today. Some real ish. And I think, Mob, Kev, we need to go ahead and just get into this right now. Because
Ish it up, baby.
It has been a thorn in our sides for over a week now. But bottom line is we got beef. And if you subscribe,
real beef.
Yeah, real beef. If you subscribe to Corkbats' other podcast, our sister podcast, if you will, The Junk Drawer, they've said some things in the past few weeks that have absolutely enraged us. If you follow us on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow us at the CineBoiz. You can see that we've posted some things alluding to that we're coming for Corkbats this week, and we are, and we've got some things to say. So here's the deal: the beef with Junk Drawer started when Austin said that Patrick Mahomes looks goofy in a helmet. And then he also said some things about how Patrick Mahomes can do anything. And even if it's not that great, he's going to get all the credit in the world for it.
Can we start here? He's not that wrong about it.
I know.
He looks kind of goofy. He looks goofy.
He's a goofy looking guy. I mean, look at the weird. He's got the thing on his head. He's got his mouthpiece hanging out. I don't know.
Right. Here's the thing. And this is the frustrating part of it, is that I've talked to Austin and I've texted him. I said, look, you're not wrong. And that's what makes this that's what makes us so mad, is that our love for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, we're so defensive that even if somebody brings up a valid argument, our knee-jerk reaction is to just, get, fire back, go on the offensive, if you will. Who did the Chiefs beat in the AFC Championship last year?
Ooh, hold on. Let me think about this for 1 second. I think it was Mob. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the Titans.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so. Yes, correct.
We'll just leave it at that. I think that's we'll leave it at that. Okay. That was actually kind of harsh. I feel bad now.
I don't want to bring up. Yeah, let's leave wins and losses out of this.
Okay. Well, I mean, can't go back now, but you're right. You're right. We're not going to talk about that anymore. So, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Junk Drawer, we expect a rebuttal.
They're also a Steelers podcast, so this could get
true.
This could get hairy in the coming weeks. Who knows what's going to happen?
80's a Steelers fan, so I guess they're not all Titans fans. And so the Steelers could very well spank the Chiefs at some point in the playoffs, and then everyone's just going to have hurt feelings.
But if we're going to talk about quarterbacks that look funny, Big Ben is the funniest looking guy out there. He's had some looks in his day.
Yeah.
How many walking boots do you think he's in right now? 3? One on his arm?
3.
It's just a look for him.
I bet he has a museum of walking boots in his house.
Definitely.
He's framed all of his.
Definitely.
Or put them in glass cases.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah. We're not a sports podcast. We love sports. We're part of the Corkbats podcast network, which is primarily sports, but we are a movie podcast. And so now that we've gotten our beef out of the way,
right, we're not a sports podcast. If we were, we would have said all those mean things, but we're not. So we're going to move on.
We're not going to say anything mean, and we didn't say anything mean. But I think we need to talk about movies to stay on point and stay on brand, if you know what I mean. And I know for me, I watched a movie in the past couple of weeks that I feel like we should talk about.
I watched it too.
So there's a film on Netflix called Hillbilly Elegy, and it's directed by Ron Howard. It stars Amy Adams and Glenn Close. And the reason why I decided to watch it was because it had a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. Anytime you kind of have like a pedigree where you have Oscar nominated actors, actresses, Oscar nominated directors, like, and the movie just comes out bad, like, you've piqued my interest. Like, I have to check it out. I have to see what it's about. Kevin, have you seen it?
I watched the trailer and it was all I could do.
Okay.
I couldn't handle anymore.
So,
I couldn't do it.
Okay. And that's fine. It is, I will say that, and here's the thing. I want to preface and say that, like, look, I'm not a filmmaker. I'm a film consumer. So I don't like being the guy that comes out guns ablaze and just like, oh, Ron Howard should go die for making this movie. Like, I don't like Ron Howard is a great director, and the actresses, you know, Glenn Close and Amy Adams are fantastic actresses. That being said, this movie is the worst movie I've seen all year.
Huh. Wonder what the worst movie I've seen is.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, it is one of and I think, you know, Mob, you kind of brought it up over the week, but the thing that makes it so bad is that it tries so hard to be good.
So hard. Like, you're watching this movie knowing that Ron Howard is like, we're going for Oscars.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
You know that is in his mind, and you're watching, and at least for me, the entire movie, I'm sitting there thinking, why am I supposed to care about anything that's going on in this movie?
Yeah.
Which is really sad because it's about an actual guy. It's like a true story. And
right.
I've heard the book is insane. That's why we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
My wife had read the book and loved it and said, let's watch the movie. But I'm just watching it and it's like, it has no self-awareness.
Right. Right. It really doesn't. And we're not going to get into like a full like movie review and break down like little bits and pieces about, you know, the details of why this movie's so bad. All I can say is that to me, you know, it felt like one of those like, I need to preface, not to offend anybody of religious persuasion, but it felt like a really bad like Christian movie. You know, like those movies that they make and they put in theaters.
I love those movies.
That are just.
I love that they make those movies.
Right.
I love that they have the spirit and the optimism to make them.
Right. It had the vibe of that kind of a movie to me. Except
honestly,
that's a damning thing to say.
The one thing that was missing from it was Kirk Cameron.
Right.
Oh.
Like, that movie, like, it's not about religion or anything like that, but the quality of the acting, the over it's over dramatic in the sense that like, yes, there's some pretty tough stuff going on in it, but it's like, it feels exploitative. Is that a word?
Exploitative.
Yeah. Like it feels like, hey, like we're just going to like talk about really heavy stuff. So people like to get people's emotions going. And like, it just does not feel genuine at all. And that's kind of how I feel about those like movies that are like, hey, we're a football team, but we're a Christian football team and God is our strength. Like, sorry if that's offensive, but like it's just not a very good movie.
No, it's not. It's a movie where you should be, in my opinion, they have good enough characters on paper that you should be intrigued and you should care about them, but you just don't. At the end of the day, you're like, what did I spent 2 hours watching a movie about characters that it's like, cool.
So when you look back at Amy Adams' career and Glenn Close's career, is this the worst movie that they've been a part of?
I think I can say that it is the worst movie that I've seen them in, either of them.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. And
go
ahead.
Glenn Close peaked in 101 Dalmatians, so
I wouldn't say that. I think that
wasn't real.
I think Glenn Close and Amy Adams, they're going to be fine. Like they're going to bounce back. I think Ron Howard will be fine. I don't
know. Ron Howard's had a run of movies where I feel like he's losing it a little bit.
Maybe, but
when I hear Ron Howard, it doesn't carry the same weight that it did in 2008.
That's fair.
I mean, everyone gets old, and
Ron Howard is like the Lil Wayne of the directing universe.
Wow.
He has some bangers.
Please explain.
I feel like he has some bangers, and you're like, yeah, those are good. But he puts out so much stuff.
He really does.
I feel like he always is putting out movies. He's always tied to projects.
Yeah.
That
he's tied to a lot of projects
crap
that he doesn't direct. Too. Yeah.
But his good ones, man, they're fire.
Look up his set or his movie list real quick, Kenny.
Okay. Bringing up Ron Howard filmography. So yeah, no, like look at these movies that, Beautiful Mind, Apollo 13, Da Vinci Code, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Solo, A Star Wars Story, Cocoon, Parenthood. Like the dude has made some really good movies, but I think with Ron Howard, and this is why I think he's going to bounce back, is that he's always had a history of like making a few really, really good movies and then
stinker.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think he'll be fine.
I feel like he likes the cheesy based on true events movie.
Yeah, like
he's
Frost
made some of those.
Nixon, like that was an excellent movie. Cocoon, classic. Willow, classic.
Cinderella Man.
Oh man, movie. I love Cinderella Man.
There's so many good Ron Howard movies, and then Hillbilly Elegy.
Eesh.
Yeah, but like I would put Solo in bad. Solo was not good.
I wouldn't. I disagree. I don't think it was a bad movie. I don't think it was. I don't think it was like creme de la creme of Star Wars movies, but it's fun and it's not bad. That's what I think. I don't think it was a bad movie. And that's a weird realm for Ron Howard to get into. Like, he's not known other than a few like Willow, like somebody like, yeah, I don't know. That was a weird little.
Also, to be fair to him, a tough situation to be brought into.
Agreed. Where the directors were fired because of creative differences, and then they brought in Ron Howard after they had started filming. So,
and they had a guy on set who, like, mentally couldn't handle the role he was given.
Man,
who?
The guy who played Solo.
Aiden.
They had to bring in. Yeah, they had to bring in
he was
like a bunch
bad
of
at acting.
acting directors or
he was bad at acting
coaches because he was bad at it.
They were very worried about it. Yeah. Man.
Wow. Well,
it was a mess. The whole movie was a mess.
For how much of a mess that production was, like, I just don't think it's that bad of a movie.
It's the only Star Wars movie I've ever fallen asleep during.
Well, that's fine. You're getting older. People fall asleep in movies. You're in your 30s now. So,
How old is Ron Howard?
I don't know. Let's find out.
I mean, American Graffiti was a long time ago.
54, so he's 66. Yep,
Nailed
66.
it. Birthday of March 1st.
Happy birthday, Ron.
You learn stuff here.
Okay. Well, guys, enough about Ron Howard. We've gone off on a weird Ron Howard tangent. Don't watch Hillbilly Elegy. Actually, watch it because I would recommend it because you may not finish it, but you need to like see this movie to be like, what the fuck, dude?
No, but like, yeah, even if you don't finish it, like I finished it and I was like, why do I care? I don't. I cared more about the movie my wife was watching last night, The Princess Swap, than I did Hillbilly Elegy.
I have seen the trailer for that a couple times because when you're scrolling on Netflix and it just auto plays, that's maybe the most damning thing said about this movie so far. Princess Swap, Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, cool. Hey, guys, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this cast for Bullet Train? Have you heard about it? Knife Point.
Tell me about
Knife
it.
Point.
I don't know if I've actually heard about it, but I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a movie coming out called Bullet Train, directed by David Leitch. And this is the cast of who they've casted so far. We got Brad Pitt, Joey King, Zazie Beetz, Michael Shannon, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Logan Lerman, Lady Gaga, Brian Tyree Henry, and it goes on and on. Like, it's a massive cast.
Eyeball emojis. Holy cow. Those are some names.
I will say I am intrigued. I have no idea what this movie is going to be about. I know it's a remake of a Korean film, if I am correct.
I always think it's funny when we get amped up about movies that we have no idea what the plot's going to be, just solely based on actors. I feel like I do this personally a lot, and then the movie comes out and I don't even see it because it's not good. So I'm trying to temper my expectations.
Right. Well, agreed. My thing is like, how much do you spend on casting? Like, is that the majority of your budget?
I mean, maybe does it just take place all on a train and you have one set? I don't know.
I don't know. But that cast is sick, dude.
What if the script is so good, the cast was just like, nah, I'm in. I got to be a part of this.
Well, I feel like if you got Michael Shannon in it, then it's, the man doesn't do bad movies. Yeah, he might.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet I could find one.
I don't know his track record.
Little fun fact, Michael Shannon's in Groundhog's Day. Did you know that?
What? Where?
Yep. He's a very, very small role. It was like his first movie role.
I gotta know now.
Yeah, go back and watch it. Fun little Michael Shannon fact.
Huh.
And I think the most important thing that happened this week that we need to talk about is Warner Brothers deciding to take a shit on the theater industry.
Big old dump.
And basically, I don't know what's going to happen to movie theaters, but essentially Warner Brothers announced that all of their 2021 slate of films are going to be released on HBO Max the same day they're released in theaters. So essentially what that means is if you have an HBO Max subscription, you have free access to these movies the day of their release, without paying anything extra. So that includes Dune, Matrix 4, Suicide Squad, Space Jam 2, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Tom and Jerry, like all of these movies that are coming out from Warner Brothers, you'll have access to them. And that's kind of crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I have an HBO Max subscription, and in all honesty, as much as I love going to a movie theater, the idea that like I don't have to next year to see a lot of these movies that I want to see is really appealing, and that sucks for the theater industry.
Well, honestly, it probably means for me that I'm gonna see some of the movies I wouldn't normally see.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch Tom and Jerry, but if it's just on at home, I might watch it.
Right.
Like, who knows?
I like it. My thing is I think of like Dune,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to see that in a theater because I think of like Blade Runner 2049. I don't think I don't think I enjoyed that movie as much as I did if the first time I saw it was on my screen and not the massive screen where I
Fair.
came away thinking that's the most visually stunning movie I've seen.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think that's fair.
So
Beautiful.
I just enjoyment wise, the first time I want to see Dune, I want it to be on a big screen, but the chances now are that it's going to be on my TV.
Right.
So we
And
have to buy bigger TVs, is what you're telling me.
so that was my thought. It's like, okay,
I
so
need a
if this
better
is
setup.
if this is the route we're gonna go, because I, texting with Austin the other day, he'd sent me the news story, and my thought was, well, what's gonna happen is Disney is gonna try to do the same thing because essentially they're gonna be like, well, shit, like we don't want to lose out to Warner Brothers on this, so they're gonna. They haven't announced anything, so this is just speculation, but my guess is that they're gonna do the same thing for 2021. So like Black Widow, Eternals, any other Disney movie that's coming out, like, will probably be released on Disney Plus.
It does feel like it's going to drive the price of subscriptions up eventually.
It could. The other thing I was thinking about the other day is like, now that we've opened Pandora's box with this, does it go back to normal? Like I honestly don't see that happening. I see, okay, so yes, they say it's just for 2021. But let's say the year gets over, HBO Max has a huge subscription base at this point, and Disney Plus may be doing the same thing. What's the incentive to? Because essentially they have to produce these movies to send them to theaters, and that costs money. Where if you put it on HBO Max and you do a limited release in theaters, you're going to be saving money and you're going to be driving up subscriptions. I don't know how that's good, like what that comparison looks like between these subscriptions for services and like box office sales, but to me, like, if it works well, like there's got to be incentive to keep doing it. And if that happens, like
Yeah.
I just don't see things going back to the way they were at this point because of this, and I don't know how you
Right.
guys feel about that.
Well,
That's
like
just-
I don't have an HBO Max account,
Mm-hmm.
but for $15 a month, if Kate and I went and saw a movie every month, there it is.
Yeah.
That's my HBO Max, and I get so much more with it.
Yeah, right.
So,
Right.
Like Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Friends. Yeah.
Right.
It just made me really sad when I started thinking about my favorite movie experiences, and I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. I was just watching there's that really awesome Twitter thread that came out like a year ago of everyone watching Avengers Endgame and those crowd reactions, and it's like that could kind of be over. Like for maybe the biggest movies that might still happen, but there's an electricity of going to a movie on opening night when it's packed and everyone's just psyched.
Yeah.
And sorry, Amy, but you just don't provide the same excitement when we're just watching it on our couch. That just doesn't exist.
Right. I remember, in watching Endgame and just getting like so emotional in the theater. And the idea that that kind of a experience is going to be limited or not what it used to be is disappointing. Well, who knows? We could be completely wrong. This could just be like a flash in the pan thing. It could be a terrible experiment that goes the wrong way for Warner Brothers. I don't know. We'll see. But it is a weird time.
I got to think that in, let's say 2 years from now, we're feeling like we're back to normal-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, let's hope. I got to think there's going to be people that want to go to the theater again because they're just
for sure
antsy. I'm antsy. I
want
want to
go
places.
to the theater. Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't know.
I think what'll happen is the way that theaters are going to try to combat this is subscription-based theater memberships, where you're going to pay, similar to what you would pay for like a HBO Max or Netflix or something like that for a monthly go to as many movies as you want subscription.
Movie Pass
Right.
was ahead of its time.
Yeah. Well, and those already exist. Yeah. So you got Movie Pass. You've got Alamo has theirs Season Pass, which is on hold right now, but AMC is going to be doing something like that. So I think that's going to be like how they fight it is like, well, if you're going to have a subscription, we're going to have subscriptions. And, this is, what a wacky time, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think theaters are going away. It'll be like drive-ins. If at worst, it'll be like drive-ins and people are like, let's go to the drive-in for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
People will be like, let's go to the theater for nostalgia's
Oh,
sake.
that's weird. I don't like that
Right?
at all. Oof.
Well, I guess that brings us to Tommy's mailbag and movie anniversaries. Tom, what you got in that mailbag? Oh, yeah. Tom's not here. Does anybody know where Tom is today?
Is that a real question?
Yeah, I don't know where he's at. What's he doing?
I think he's got his nephews at his house this morning.
That makes
he's
sense.
Hanging out with the fuse.
I think the last thing you want to have on in the background is me when you got kids over, because I'm a bad boy.
It's true.
So I guess that means I've got mailbag duty this week, and I'm not going to sing this song because Tom's not here. So
can you
want the song?
No, I want something. It doesn't have to be a song. Just
I need a little jingle jangle.
Yeah.
Jangle jangle. Here's the mother effing mailbag.
All
Does
right.
that work?
I'm disappointed, but I will get over it.
Look, if you want music, if you want the song, you can blame that on Tom because I only do the song when Tom's here. Okay?
Damn it, Tom.
So Tom's fault.
Tom's fault. Agreed.
Okay. Kenny's mailbag and anniversaries. Kenny's mailbag. Won't you read that mail to me? See, it doesn't have the same.
I didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it either. I felt dirty singing it. Yeah. All right. So we only got one thing with mailbag this week. So it comes from our good friend Mary, and she sent us a message on Instagram. It said, please weigh in on live action Clifford this week. My personal opinion, not read enough. Have you guys seen the photos of Clifford, the big red dog for the live action movie?
Definitely not read enough. Like
looking
very
at it
first
right now.
Yeah. It looks like, you know how like people like color their dogs like with the doggy spray paint?
Yep.
That's what it looks like.
Yep.
It looks like you came in afterwards and put the color on, and like Clifford's going to be walking and the color's going to be just a shade behind Clifford when Clifford's moving.
Yeah.
And then once Clifford stops, that overlay color will stay. That's the color he looks like of red.
Yep. You're right.
Who was clamoring for this? That's what I want to know.
Right. Is there a big...
What audience is this?
Right.
Is it still on TV? Is it a cartoon still?
I don't know.
You know what I've realized? As a 20-something to now 30-year-old male with no children, there's a lot of children's movies that come out that I don't even know exist, but I bet if you have kids, you know what they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know specifically what like 6 or 7 of them are because that's all you can watch.
Like I saw a preview for the Croods 2. I didn't know there was a Croods 1.
Yeah. What is that?
The Croods.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. But there were so many movies when I was a kid that I loved that my parents probably wouldn't have even paid attention to.
Flubber. Right. I loved Flubber.
Yeah.
I don't. My dad.
Yeah.
That actually shocks me.
My dad does seem like a Flubber kind of guy.
Flubber is right up Tim's alley.
Yeah. Well, that's it for mailbag. So let's get into some of these movie anniversaries. So happy 5-year anniversary to A Very Murray Christmas.
Very Murray Christmas?
Yeah, have you seen it?
No.
Netflix.
Bill Murray.
It's more of like a special.
Correct. Okay.
But it is technically a film directed by Sofia Coppola.
True.
Oh.
Thank you for verifying. I like it. I watch it every year. It's just because I love Bill Murray so much. Like, I think
what happens in it?
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick little rundown of A Very Merry Christmas.
I don't know. I've never even like heard of this.
It's just basically Bill Murray's supposed to host this Christmas special, but there's a huge snowstorm and nobody makes it to the special. And it's just the hijinks that ensue in the hotel that they're having it during this snowstorm. And it's very it's very Bill Murray and it's very Sofia Coppola. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's great. I love it. It's one of my...
I'll give it a go.
I watch it every year. So, since it came out. And happy 10-year anniversary to All Good Things, starring Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst.
I don't have anything to
Yeah,
say
that
about
one.
this movie.
So that movie's about Robert Durst, apparently. I've never seen it, but it's like supposed to be.
I actually have seen it
Oh, okay.
because so when we watched the HBO miniseries about
Mhm.
Robert Durst, we were like, wait, there's a movie. We were just like addicted to this story. So we
Oh, it's
watched it
insane.
we watched the miniseries in like one day, and then we watched the movie the next day. And the movie is weird. It's
Hmm.
weird. Ryan Gosling comes off as kind of a convincing serial killer, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't compare to the miniseries.
No, if you're
Nothing
gonna
could.
watch something around this kind of story, just watch the miniseries because
It's
the
so
movie's not even really a. It's like very loosely based on that
it's
story.
basically about his accused first murder of his first wife, and it's never been proven.
Right.
So
Except
it's
for when
all
he's in the
allegedly
bathroom with a mic on and admits to it to himself, which
inadmissible,
good,
but it
good
happened. My
Lord.
gosh.
That I was like, I've never been like scared watching something before.
It because they don't really warn you that that's going to happen. It just
Right.
starts, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
freaking nuts.
it gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. What was that called? Like, what was The Jinx?
The
Watch
Jinx, yeah, yeah,
HBO.
for sure. Watch it. Super creepy.
Yeah, if
Now that
you
we've ruined it for you,
if you've bought if you've bought an HBO Max subscription because of all these movies coming out, check out The Jinx. It's on there. It's nuts.
you can't look away, even though you might want to.
Yeah. And then happy 25-year anniversary to Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, starring Andy Garcia. Things to
I've
do.
never seen it.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
things
that's one
to
of my
do.
favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, expand.
Yeah. I don't even know what it's about, but I can tell you this. If you're
I have a
looking
good idea of what it's about.
if you're looking to find things to do in Denver when you're dead, just ask the Denver Broncos.
Oh, oh,
Snap!
Mm,
Again,
they
we are not a sports
suck.
podcast,
they didn't deserve it.
but
they
if we
do.
were,
The maddest I've ever seen Kenny in real life is watching the Broncos win the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
5 or 6 or 7 years ago, however long that was.
I hate the Broncos. I hate the Broncos. I hate the Raiders. I hate the Chargers.
I don't hate the Chargers so much because they're just funny to me. They're just
Yeah.
funny. They're like a circus. But yeah,
Yeah. Guys, that's pretty much it for today. Way to go. I'm glad we made it. It was really tough without Tom. It did not feel natural doing mailbag and anniversaries this week. I'll say that.
it felt weird. Come back, Tom.
I missed the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we are the CineBoiz podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the CineBoiz. If you want to email us, the CineBoiz podcast at gmail.com. Obviously, like I said earlier, just subscribe. You don't like, I'm sure
Just
you get
do it.
like a load of podcasts that come through every Monday in your feed. You don't have to listen. It's okay. But it would be great if you subscribe because that does help us out a ton. Be sure to follow Corkbats on YouTube, Corkbats on Instagram and Twitter. Gosh, a lot of plugs. But yeah, we're part of the Corkbats podcast network. And there, we talk about the other podcast, Junk Drawer. Subscribe to them as well. We got a beef with them, but
A healthy beef.
if they're doing well, we're doing well. That's the way I see it.
Also, you got to listen to them to hear their rebuttal to understand the beef. So
Right. Exactly. So, you guys got anything you want to plug?
No.
Yeah.
no.
I'm probably gonna watch Mank tonight.
Oh, me too.
It's on my to-do list.
A lot of movies to watch this weekend. Mank, Sound of Metal. I watched
Sound of
Godmother.
Metal. I don't know. I'm not super drawn to Sound of Metal for whatever reason.
It has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, bro.
I know.
So I'm gonna check that out probably maybe tomorrow, but I'm gonna watch both. Yeah. Godmother also came out on Disney Plus. We watched that last night. Not bad. Pretty fun. It's essentially Elf, but about fairy godmothers. So fun, easy watch, and especially if you got kids. It's a fun one to watch with them. So
Me and my kids will probably watch it this weekend.
cool.
I have kids, definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Get the hell out of here.
Okay.